The judge's gavel cracked like a gunshot. My ex-wife's chair scraped against the floor as she bolted from the courtroom, her lawyer still shouting objections that echoed off the wood-paneled walls. But all I could do was stare at my son, my quiet, stone-faced teenage son who hadn't said a word in 3 days of testimony, and watch a single tear roll down his cheek. Mr. Patterson, Judge Morrison's voice cut through the chaos. I'm calling a recess. Bailiff, I need social services contacted immediately. That's when I knew. After 3 days of being destroyed, humiliated, and painted as the worst father in the world, my son had just saved us both with one simple question. But to understand how we ended up in that courtroom, you need to go back 6 months. Life as a single dad wasn't supposed to look like this. When Sarah left 4 years ago, I thought we had it figured out. Joint custody, civil conversations, put the kids first. That lasted about 2 years before she met Derek, my ex's new boyfriend. The DUI happened on the worst night of my life, the night my dad died. One drink became three. No accident, no one hurt. But Sarah's lawyer would make sure everyone forgot those details. Jake, buddy, we need to talk about the court date, I said one Tuesday evening. He was 15 now, tall enough to look me in the eye. He didn't look up from his phone. Mom says I don't have to testify if I don't want to. My stomach dropped. You know that's not true, right? The judge might ask you questions. Then I'll just sit there. His voice was flat. I'm not picking sides. How do you argue with that? How do you tell your son that sometimes silence is the loudest choice of all? For 2 days, Sarah's lawyer destroyed me. Every late bill, every mistake, my DUI mugshot blown up on a screen, while my son watched from the gallery, staring at his shoes like he wished he could disappear. Day 3 started with Jake on the witness list. My lawyer had warned me he might be called. When Miss Chen announced his name, my blood went cold. Jake walked to the stand like a man heading to his execution. The bailiff swore him in. Judge Morrison smiled gently at him. Jake, I know this is hard, Miss Chen began, but I need to ask you some questions about your father. Jake stared straight ahead. Miss Chen asked if I'd ever put him in danger. He didn't move. If I'd failed to provide for him, his jaw clenched tighter. If he felt safe in my home? 10 seconds passed, then 20. The silence was deafening. Judge Morrison leaned forward. Son, you need to answer the questions. Jake looked at me for the first time in 3 days, then looked away. I'll take that as a no, Miss Chen said smoothly. No further questions. My lawyer tried to salvage it. Jake, you spend time at both homes, correct? Silence. Do you enjoy time with your father? Nothing. She gave up. Jake stepped down and returned to his seat, disappearing back into his hoodie. I felt like I was watching my son slip away in real time, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Have you ever felt completely powerless, like the whole world was watching you drown and no one was throwing you a rope? By day 4, I knew it was over. Miss Chen's closing argument was a masterpiece of character assassination. She painted me as unstable, financially irresponsible, a danger to my own children. She requested sole custody for Sarah with supervised visitation only. Your Honor, Mr. Patterson has had multiple chances to prove himself a fit parent. He has failed at every turn. My lawyer did her best. She talked about the meals I cooked, the homework I helped with, the Little League games I never missed. But her words felt hollow compared to the DUI mugshot still burned into everyone's memory. Judge Morrison asked if anyone had final statements. That's when Jake stood up. Your Honor, his voice cracked. Can I say something? The judge looked surprised. You can approach the bench, young man. Jake walked forward and I saw his hands shaking. Miss Chen leaned over to whisper to Sarah. My ex looked confident, almost smug. Go ahead, son, Judge Morrison said gently. Jake cleared his throat. His voice was quiet at first, then stronger. Your Honor, I have a question. All right. If my mom cares so much about our safety, He paused, and the courtroom held its breath. Why did she leave us alone for 3 days last month while she went to Vegas with her boyfriend? The explosion was immediate. Miss Chen shot to her feet. Objection! This is completely… 3 days? Judge Morrison's voice could have cut steel. Is this true, Miss Patterson? Sarah's face went white. She stood up, her chair clattering. Jake, that's not… You're twisting. She left Friday morning, Jake continued, his voice steady now. Came back Monday night. Told us not to tell Dad. Told us if we did, she'd make sure we never saw him again. Your Honor, my client… Miss Chen was scrambling. Your client what, counselor? The judge's eyes were blazing. Left 2 minor children alone for 3 days? Sarah was gathering her purse, her hands shaking. I have to… Sit down, Miss Patterson. The judge's voice was ice. But Sarah didn't sit. She rushed toward the doors, her heels clicking frantically. The bailiff moved to stop her, but Judge Morrison held up a hand. Let her go. Bailiff, I want social services on the phone immediately. I want a full investigation into both households. She turned to Jake. Son, were you alone? No adult supervision? Jake nodded. I walked over to Jake. He was still standing by the bench, looking smaller now that the adrenaline had worn off. Jake? My voice came out hoarse. He turned to me and his face crumpled. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry I didn't say anything earlier. I didn't want to hurt her. Even after everything, she's still Mom. I pulled him into a hug. You did the right thing, buddy. You told the truth when it mattered most. She told us you were the problem, that you were dangerous. But Dad, you've never left us. Not once. Even when you were broke, even when things were hard, you were always there. Judge Morrison cleared her throat. We pulled apart. Mr. Patterson, I'm suspending all custody arrangements pending investigation. Temporary, full custody goes to you, with supervised visitation from Miss Patterson only. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks. I couldn't speak, could barely breathe. That night, Jake and I sat in our tiny apartment kitchen, eating the pizza I'd reheated. Dad, Jake said quietly, I'm sorry I made you go through all that. Hey, I reached across and squeezed his shoulder. You saved us, Jake. You saved our family. I was so scared. What if she really tried to take us away forever? Sometimes being brave means being scared and doing it anyway. He smiled, a real smile, the first one I'd seen in months. 3 weeks later, the investigation cleared me completely. Sarah lost primary custody. She got every other weekend, supervised until she completed a parenting course.